Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while since I've posted on here. I'm really glad to be back. I know I'm in my exercise gear right now. You have to forgive me for that, please. I've actually been working out early, so that's why. So I was walking. I'm walking every morning, and then I have a workout, so that's why I'm in this. So today's video is going to be about connecting to your intuition. How do you connect to your intuition to get guidance? I remember years ago a medium telling me that I was really good at asking and I was really good at talking, but that what I struggled with was listening. And I remember this really perplexed me at the time. I thought, what does that mean, listening? Because it's not a physical experience. Tuning to your intuition and figuring out hearing spiritual guidance, it's not physical. So how do I listen? How do I listen to something that I know I'm not physically going to hear? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down to steps. So I'll start with step one. So we're going to start very generic, and then we're going to move into the more specific. So the very first step for me was meditation. So I started meditating, and that was when I realized that actually something that was happening with me was my mind is very active. I've always had a very, very active mind. I'm constantly thinking all of the time, and of course we all think all of the time, and that's completely normal. But I found that for me in particular, my mind was very active. And meditation was something that helped me in many ways, not just in terms of listening to my intuition. It also helped me get calmer, more peaceful. It helped me to deal with so many of the thoughts that I struggled with, so many of the negative thoughts that I was having. But it also helped sort of clear a path for me to actually be able to feel what the next move was for me. The second step of the process I found myself in was that I was actually meditating too much. How can you meditate too much? Well, I think not necessarily. I'm not saying it's going to be necessarily the case for everybody, but for me, I felt that I was. I think it depends on where it comes from. So for me, I often felt the need for guidance, and I would feel completely stuck, and so I would meditate. Meditating for guidance can be an incredible thing, but I found that I was actually trying to force it. I was trying to force answers, so I was desperate for answers. I was often in a place where I was really stuck, feeling really desperate, and so I would meditate. And I think I was so desperate to get answers that it was often really difficult for me to perceive anything. The third step for me was recognizing what I already mentioned before, that I'm not going to hear this physically, so what are the different ways that I can hear this, that I can actually receive this? Because you're not actually hearing it, you're receiving it. What I started to learn was that the way that I received the most guidance was through feeling. So when you're receiving guidance, when you're tapped into your intuition, it's going to be a feeling. There's going to be a really strong feeling there, and it's like a knowing. You might also experience a thought popping into your head. It's an experience that can feel really random, so it can feel like it's come from absolutely nowhere. So it's not something you were considering, it's not something you ever thought of before, it's maybe not even the sort of idea that you would usually go for. But suddenly this thought is there, it's in your mind. You haven't sought it, you haven't looked for it, you haven't forced it, you've not been thinking along a particular train of thought, it's just suddenly sort of appeared, it's popped into your mind. I'm trying to remember what point we were on. I think that was number 3. I think we're going on to number 4. So the fourth point, please tell me is the fourth point. So the fourth point is that connecting to your intuition is going to be personal. There's no one way to do it. There's no one way that's right. So I know I've mentioned that, you might feel it. It might be a very strong feeling. A thought might pop into your head. You might hear or see a word. Something I sometimes experience is seeing a picture. So I'll see a picture in my mind. So that's what receiving the information can look like. But the methods that you might use to try to receive that information, again, can be personal for everybody. So something that I do, again, is meditation. I also try to meditate on a specific topic. And I think this is something that maybe I didn't do at the beginning, because I think we think of meditation as clearing our mind. And so we think, okay, well, I need to clear my mind completely. And I've also noticed that meditating on a particular topic can be confused with thinking. So you can think, well, surely I'm meditating while I'm thinking. If I'm thinking, I'm not meditating. So you have it there in the front of your mind as an idea, as a concept. I'm really sorry. Can you hear the thunder? I know it probably looks like I'm freezing out here. I'm really not. It's still warm, which is probably, hence the storm, because we actually have had a lot of really warm weather, as you probably know. You might want to check the date on the video. We've had a lot of really warm weather, and then we've had a couple of downpours today and yesterday, but previously it was just really, really hot. There was no rain in sight. So that's one way that I use meditation if I'm trying to meditate on a specific topic, if I want answers to something specific, if I'm looking for guidance. I also use oracle cards. I find that they work really well for me. I would say that, you know, when you're using oracle cards or you're using tarot, remember not to take it too literally. It could have multiple meanings. Also remember that it's all based off your energy. So you might get one reading at a particular time, and you could, if your energy drastically changes between 1 hour and the next, which it might, you might work on your energy or something might happen. Remember that the cards might show up very differently. I use oracle cards for guidance. I also feel like oracle cards I use more to keep me motivated, to sort of send me a positive message that helps me feel like I'm on track. When I'm looking for answers more than reassurance, then I probably go for, again, the meditating on a specific topic. I also find so I have a stone that I use. It's a special stone. It's just a stone that I found. And I like to hold that stone in my hand, and I like to move it from one hand to the next. I start in a particular place, so I might choose a word, I might choose a couple of words, and at this point, you know, it's on a particular topic that I want answers on, that I want guidance about. I know these specific words are words that I'm choosing in my mind, but I find that if I start that way and I sort of hold those words and I play with them and I sort of let it go, I find that other words start to come to me and they start to flow. And at this point, I can actually tell the difference. I can feel the shift between my mind and the words that are coming to me. And this is a method that I've used to get guidance and answers on specific things. And the last step we're going to cover today is trusting. Because what I find is that we often get sort of nudges from our intuition, and we're getting guidance and we don't trust it, we don't believe it. Even if you're not engaging in these particular practices, you might feel that, you know, maybe I suppose we call it a hunch sometimes, or like an intuitive feeling. You might suddenly get this feeling where you feel like you know something, and then we question it. And it's great to question things, that's amazing, but when it comes to our intuition, I often find that our mind comes in and we start to doubt. And the doubt kills it. Kills it every time. So the logical mind comes in and we think, well, that's not logical, this could go wrong, there were so many reasons why this, you know, might not be the case. And we basically self-sabotage. So actually often we are actually getting those answers, getting that guidance, but we're not trusting it and we're not pursuing it and we're not trusting the action that we need to take. So I hope that this has given you some ideas on, you know, how to connect to your intuition, how to get the answers that maybe you need. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your experience has been. You know, how do you connect to your intuition? Have you been struggling with connecting to your intuition? You know, what is your experience with it? You know, what are the techniques that maybe you use? Have you maybe ever had sort of like a special experience where you've experienced something that maybe felt really spiritual for you because you felt like you suddenly knew something or you suddenly had an idea, and maybe you acted on that and it really paid off? So leave me a comment, let me know what you think. I'm going to leave my Instagram handle down there as well. I am launching a program soon. I don't have a date yet. I'm hoping to get a date really soon. But I'm basically launching a live program that's basically connected to a course that I've created. So the course is True Self Awaken, but I'm turning it into a larger program. So I'm basically turning it into a program where we're actually going to have lives. I'm planning on having 2 or 3 lives every week for 6 weeks as part of the program, which will really give us a better chance to connect. And it's basically about connecting to who you are. Yes, I'm very aware it's raining. It was only a few spots and now it's getting more and more. It's starting to downpour, I think. So I'm going to try to get out of this as soon as I can. But it's basically about connecting to who you are and what your personal goals are. You know, so many of us create our goals based on what we think other people want. It's based on societal expectations. Sometimes we choose something because we think it's our only option or because it's what everybody else around us is doing. And so this is really a chance to connect to you. So what your personal goals are, what it is that you want from your life. So if any of this sounds like something you relate to, I'm going to leave the link below. I'll leave my DM me as well if you want to know more. I'm going to leave my Instagram handle down here anyway. If you want to follow me on there, that would be really awesome. And I will see you in the next video. It is so wet. I can't believe I actually managed to get to the end of this. I'm really going to have to pack up my tripod now and go.